Hartness,
Present.
Mr. Porter, Mr. Bonner,
Present.
Mrs. Corzine,
Present.
Mr. Dennis.
The meeting is being recorded by audio tape, and if you would stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
To
to the republic for which it
stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, before we adopt the agenda, I would like to make a few changes if it's okay. Move the student liaison report to the first thing after the adoption of the agenda because Emma has a basketball game. And under superintendent's recommendations, I'd like to break A and B apart. And with those changes, are there any others? The motion to adopt the agenda? Second? A second. Any discussion? Roll.
Mr. Porter, Mr. Bonner,
Yes.
Mrs. Corzine,
Yes.
Mr. Dennis, Mr. Hartness.
Yes.
Okay. Emma, would you like to give your report?
Come on up.
Oh yeah, we don't have a mic down there, do we?
How well can you come?
If you want to, you can come sit here.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My speech today will cover the elementary schools. First, starting with the primary, teachers have started voice groups at each grade level for STEM. These groups are based on individual interests on specific topics. This way, the kids are able to focus and do what they are fascinated with. Teachers are also continuing to complete BAS assessments on students, which will help them with the progress and needs of their students' reading and writing. They have seen growth since the fall assessment. Teachers continue with their PACS leadership journey. For those who don't know, PACS is a set of strategies to help students learn important self-management skills while collaborating to make their classroom a peaceful and productive learning environment. There has been major improvement in student behavior in the classroom and on the buses. And kindergarten registration should start the week of March 22nd. In the intermediate school, monthly STEM ICE modules have been released to all grade levels. Each grade level to focus on a STEM career. A virtual book fair will take place in March. Author Stephen Graves has donated 25 copies of his book, Freddie Shortpants and the Dreadful Dirigible Disaster, A Tale of Old Chillicothe. This story directly links our history and takes place right in our backyard. Teachers have completed their first PACS training. They are also working on blending PACS strategies with Leader in Me and other PBIS initiatives. Along with school and classroom mission statements, the Leader in Me action teams have challenged CIS families to make their own mission statements. These will be shared throughout the school month. Finally, sixth graders have begun their classes with their officer, Tim Boltonhouse. That is all.
Thank you very much. Good job and good luck tonight.
Come
Thank you. Okay, next is recognitions and presentations. Debbie?
Okay, is Oscar here? Oscar. All right, I'll grab him at school tomorrow. Oscar obviously is going off as the school liaison, and he clearly hasn't had a typical student liaison opportunity with us, but he's done a good job, for the time Cyril was able to present. So I'll catch up with him tomorrow at school. Okay, Spectrum Care is going to do a short presentation. Aaron and I met with them, was about 2 weeks ago, and they're interested in renting some space from Mount Logan. So I asked them to just kind of give us an idea of what their services are that they're going to be able to provide.
Okay.
You can come on up here. How are you? All right.
Can you hear me?
I don't know if that's working very well, Mary.
I can talk loud. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I think that'll work. I can take that,
All right.
thanks.
So my name is Leanne Joyce. I am the owner of Spectrum Care. We are based in Portsmouth. We were established in 2014. Thank you. Starting out with school consults. And I had the pleasure of working with Mr. Tripp when he was at Pioneer. That's where
Yeah.
we started
Thank
with
you.
our school consults. We also provide behavior support around autism and ABA therapy, speech therapy, occupational therapy, and we're looking to put some roots in the county. We do serve little ones here, and often we find that the treatment in the homes are not conducive to treatment. So we really need a spot here locally so they don't have to travel to Portsmouth. A lot of families have. So we're just kind of looking for a place where we can do our thing and be a part of the community. And Riley is a part of the community. She is a part of our leadership team, and she's helping us develop services here. So we have a solid team, and we're just looking forward to being a part of your community and to serve children here. So I really just wanted to be available to answer questions if you have any. We do provide medically necessary services, so they are funded through the child's insurance most of the time. We also, as I mentioned, provide school consult, and that's with contracts with different schools, providing behavior support services, doing functional behavioral assessments and helping teams write BIPs and also doing staff training. So I feel like it would be a good fit. We've looked at the building and I just really feel like it's a good place for us to start. So if any of you have any questions for me or.
Could you maybe tell them what ABA therapy is?
Okay, I guess that would be a good place to
Yeah.
start. So ABA therapy is research-based therapy. It's the most effective treatment for autism. And we have 2 board-certified behavior analysts on staff, as well as a team of therapists that hold a credential or are working toward their BCBA. And typically, ABA therapy is developed or is delivered in hours. So once a child receives the diagnosis of autism, they usually are referred to us, and we do an assessment and decide based on that assessment how many hours per week that the child would need. That could be anywhere from 5 to 40 hours a week, depending upon how the autism is affecting them. So that's what we do. We go into homes and we provide direct treatment to children anywhere from 10 to 40 hours a week. Typically, they come into our services right at diagnosis, which could be before age 3. We serve children up to the age of 12. I am also a parent of an adult with autism that had very challenging behaviors and wasn't able to be served in our local community. So I've really just made it my mission to make these services available because he missed out on them, and it greatly impacted his future without having that very specific therapy. And when I say specific, we really focus on very small skills that add up to big things. So eye contact, learning how to play with toys, language development. And while we're working on those skills, we also work on challenging behaviors, interfering with learning. So we do functional assessments all the while, and we collect data on everything we do, and we make data-informed decisions. So A couple times a week, we look at the data, we make changes, and as soon as that child masters that particular skill or objective we're working on, we move forward. So it's a very rapid pace, and it's very much based on the child's response. And another huge component of ABA therapy is every child's plan has parent goals as well. So we're teaching parents right along with the child and teaching them how to respond and how to help them find their voice and learn the language and respond to negative behaviors and teach new skills. So, anybody have any questions? Oh, I could go on for a long time, but I only had a few minutes. So I just thought if you guys had any questions, I could address those.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very
Very
much.
interesting.
Thank you.
Okay, next is Mr. Ballantyne. He's going to give an update on our plans for graduation this year. And they do not include sitting here for 5 days in a row in the same outfit.
Well, we changed that since you and I last talked.
Still got the X's on the floor.
You want me to use the mic or?
It's not working, so.
Oh, okay. Then I won't use the mic. Good evening. I wanted to take the opportunity to just share with you some of the plans that myself, our administrative team, as well as some of our teachers and parents have come up with for graduation. And I believe it's a very workable plan that will allow our students to experience a traditional graduation while still allowing us to socially distance. So our plan as of right now, and this is a bit of a change from the original date of graduation, is to move graduation to Friday, May the 21st. And the reason for the move is because we want to do it outside at the Obadiah Harris Athletic Complex. And if it rains, we want to have 2 extra days in the same weekend to be able to do graduation. So graduation is scheduled now for May 21st in 2 separate cohorts. Graduation A will be from 4:30 to 5:30, and graduation B will be from 7:30 to 8:30. Students will have the opportunity to choose which graduation session they would like to attend, and both ceremonies will be completely identical. So our speeches, we're talking to our music department about recording, pre-recording the music on the video screen, and allowing both graduations to be 100% identical, with the exception of the names that are read being different at each of the ceremonies. At this point, given the current capacity of the Obadiah Harris Athletic Complex, we will be looking at giving each student 4 tickets. However, I did read a quick article today that said maybe moving it up to 30% capacity, but my dad always taught me to under-promise, over-deliver. And so we are going to say at this point, they will be given 4 tickets to the ceremony. If at some point, due to new regulations, we can raise that number, we will. But obviously, all attendees will need to be able to follow the COVID guidelines of masks, social distancing, et cetera. So that will kind of be how graduation works. Just to kind of give you a visual for how it's going to play out, our intention right now is to set up the stage at the north side of the field, in center of the field. I'm working with Mr. Pritchard on getting OSB to be put down on the field to protect the field due to the feet of the platforms. Graduates will be seated on both sides, the home and the away sides on the track, on our traditional chairs from the cafeteria. And then wherever the student ends up sitting when we do the rehearsal, we're going to ask the parents to sit behind them in the stands, that whatever side they're on. So if you're sitting on the visitor side and you're on the north side, we're going to ask parents to sit on the north side of the visitor stands. We obviously already have the dots on the stand seats in order to be able to accommodate the social distancing that's necessary. We will have graduation practice and obviously need to go through this with everyone. Graduation practice will be a requirement in order for students to walk, because we need to make sure that everyone's aware of what's going to be happening. The big screen will be behind the stage, and we are working with our tech department and Mr. Vidito and Miss George to have everyone's picture or face on the screen as they walk across, so so that families can get a good view of their student receiving their diploma. And as is tradition, we'll have Mirror's photography available. And Mr. Bloom, I believe, is going to come also to take some candid shots of the graduation ceremonies that will then be uploaded to our SmugMug account. I've already mentioned that graduates will be given 4 tickets, and we will continue to stream the event on either Facebook, YouTube, or potentially our NFHS network, where we stream all of our games. From my understanding is that gives a better video compression rate and gives a better quality video. I'm not really sure what I just said, but I trust those that I got the information from. So just to kind of give you an idea of how the last week for our seniors will go, the 14th of May will be their last official day in building. Sunday, May 16th, we are going to continue a tradition that we began last year with our graduation parade. We're going to do that the Sunday before graduation. We'll meet at 12:15 in the student parking lot, asking students to get into small groups that can decorate the back of a pickup or a Jeep or a trailer, and depart the parking lot at 1 p.m. with the same route through the park, across Main Street, down Main Street, and then back to the school. That was just a very well-received tradition that we began, and we would like to continue it. Then the graduation practice will be on Monday, May 17th. This potentially could change. We were just made aware that the AP testing dates have changed a little bit, and we have several students who are in an AP course, statistics, that will be testing that morning, but it'll either be May 17th or May 18th. And then Friday, May 21st, will be graduation. Graduates will report 1 hour before. Stadium will open a half hour before graduation begins. And so that will give us plenty of time in between each of these ceremonies to clean, give people opportunity for pictures, and to leave without feeling like we're rushed between the 2 different ceremonies. If you choose to attend and are able to attend, which we are extending an open invitation, obviously, to all of you here, in between those 2 ceremonies, we will offer a dinner over at the intermediate school in between the ceremonies so that you can take a load off. Obviously, rain dates will be May 22nd and May 23rd at the exactly same times as the Friday dates or Friday times indicate. So that's our plan for graduation. We're looking forward to getting our students through the end of the year. As we move towards the end of the year, one of our high priorities with Mr. Weaver, Mr. Camps, our school counselor of seniors, is to really keep on some of our seniors, specifically those who are on VLA, moving forward. It seems that, I'm going to use the term senioritis, has set in for many of those who are on the VLA platform. And so we are doing our best and continue to be in contact with those seniors to let them know that there's potential risk of not graduating in the event that they don't complete the necessary coursework. So we continue to work through that, and I know that Ms. Swinehart and I are planning to get together to just kind of brainstorm how we can better and continue to communicate that information to those who are at risk for not graduating.
Matt, did you say you met with some parents on the development of this plan?
Yeah, so this plan is actually, I'm going to say, pretty much fully developed by parents and students. They wanted to bring 3 options to the table, which we did with Ms. Swinehart and Mr. Brown. We kind of all landed on the one that made the most sense, this one being the one that made the most sense for 2 factors. First of all, you don't have to stand here for a whole week on stage. Secondly, students can graduate with their peers and experience a traditional graduation, even though it might only be half of their class at a time. Any other questions?
I think it sounds like a great plan, and I'm glad the parade is part of it too.
Yeah, we're looking forward to that. That was really cool last year. If you
Yeah,
had
it
the
was.
opportunity to attend. So. Well, thank you.
Great, thank you.
Thanks, Matt.
Anything else under presentations, Debbie?
Pardon me.
Anything else under presentations?
No, that's it. Thanks.
Okay. All right, we welcome to visitors to this and all board meetings. The board desires citizens of the district to attend its meetings so that they become better acquainted with the operations and programs of the schools, and so that the board may have the opportunity to hear the wishes and ideas of the public. All meetings of the board are open to the public and the media. Is there anyone here who would like to address the board? Okay, seeing no one, we'll move on. Legislative update is next, and I do have something. Debbie Swinehart helped me with this. House Bill 436 was signed by Governor DeWine on January 9th of this year. It establishes new requirements regarding screening and intervention for children with dyslexia. The new requirements will be phased in over 3 years and include the following: mandatory screenings for dyslexia for all students K through 3, beginning in the 22-23 school year and upon request for students in grades 4 through 6. Districts must establish a multisensory structured literacy certification process for teachers providing instructions to students enrolled in grades K through 3. Educators must obtain 6 to 18 hours of professional development in dyslexia instruction, and this professional development begins for teachers in grades K through 1 in the 23-24 school year, teachers in grades 2 through 3 in 24-25, and special education teachers in grades 4 through 12 in the 25-26 school year. The Ohio Dyslexia Committee is comprised of many education professionals, and they're developing a guidebook for all districts that will be available in April of this year. So it sounds like a big undertaking.
It's going to be a very big undertaking. Alyssa and I have talked a little bit about it because this really is a general education initiative, not special ed. There's really very few situations where a child with dyslexia would qualify under IDA for an IEP. So it's going to be, I think, a bit overwhelming, I think, at first for the gen ed teachers to absorb the professional development and think about the interventions that have to be provided. The screening tool has not been identified yet. We're hoping that's going to come out through this guidance document. Alyssa and I are participating in a webinar through BASA on Wednesday to get, I hope, some more information. I sent out an email to the staff last night about it, so they're aware of it. But I do think it does address, obviously, some of Mr. Bonner's concerns about our kids reading. We have kids that come in identified dyslexic, and we have parents that say their kids are dyslexic, but don't really ever produce anything that says that they are. And we know we have lots of kids that can't read, despite our efforts. So I think it's probably going to address a lot more kids than we think, whether they're identified or not, just because of the multisensory approach to intervening with them. One of our challenges, obviously, is how do we align the multisensory approach to our Ohio Literacy Collaborative, which we don't think is going to be that difficult. It's going to supplement what we're doing. So that's the stuff we've got to work on. They said that if we do our training, start our training for staff this summer, that those hours will count towards the 6 to 19 or 18 hours that we had to provide. We don't know if we'll be able to get that in place by then, but we want to start getting things in front of staff sooner than later. Melissa, do you want to add anything to that?
The only other thing I thought about, Debbie, was basically what you said. We're trying to move forward. As soon as that guidance document comes out, we want to put things in place now and for next year, even though some of the timelines are 2-3 years out. So we just talked about a lot of different options for staff training and things we already have in place curriculum-wise that we can utilize. So hopefully, even starting next year, we'll have some of that tackled already.
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe in April when that
Guidance document comes out.
when that
We do an
comes out,
update.
maybe give an update.
Yeah, I'd be glad to do that. Hopefully it's out by then. They're
Yeah,
promising.
I'm interested to see if they stay on track with their schedule too,
Yeah, so are we. But yes, I can do that.
Okay, that'd be great. Thank you. All right, treasurer reports and recommendations, Deb.
Yeah, I just need to ask the board to approve A through F.
Okay, is there a motion to approve the treasurer recommendations and reports?
Make a motion.
Second? Okay, any discussion? Okay, roll.
Mrs. Corzine?
Yes.
Mr. Dennis? Mr. Hartman? Mr. Porter? Mr. Bonner?
Yes.
Okay, and next are superintendent recommendations, and we were going to start with A and deal with that first, the school calendar.
Okay, so I'd like to recommend A for the board's consideration, and that's the school calendar, which you were given options 1, 2, and 3, and I believe that we submitted 3 as the recommendation.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve?
I'd like to do a little discussion first, if we could.
Okay.
I know we talk about our test scores all the time. We talk about students and time in classrooms, and I've looked over these options extensively, and I just will not support option 3. I apologize if that offends anyone, but I think taking a week out of school, actually a week plus, including weekends or weekdays in March, and then follow that up again in April, a week out of school. That's prime testing time for our students. We talk about, how we need our students in class to learn and to do these tests. I think option 3 is just entirely too much time out of the classroom. So I will support option 2, and I will make a motion to approve option 2 personally.
Do you want me to give you the testing dates for 21, 22?
Yes,
Because those are not on there.
Yeah, I would like to ask that.
So ELA, the testing window is March 14th through April 15th, and that includes makeups. And we have to have 15 consecutive days for all that. You can't break it up. And then math, science, and social studies, the testing window is March 28th through May 6th. Same issue, makeup days included in that, and 15 consecutive days. Does that mean me repeat those? Yeah, so math, science, and social studies is March 28th through May 6th.
And what was the first one? ELA? you said?
ELA is March 14th through April 15th. And this is the current testing window on the OD website. And, they could change that. It's not normal that they change it, but they could.
Not having to do with testing, Debbie, at one time I thought that was is this a contract situation? I thought the
The
teachers
calendar?
voted on the calendar. and
Yeah,
by-
in the contract, it says the board considers the recommendation that comes from the.
But it's not binding.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
And just to follow that point, and maybe we could table it right now, not that we don't have to re-vote right now. We could look at more time. I know some states are going to a uniform calendar for all schools. I wish Ohio would do that. I'd like to go back to the old days, start after Labor Day, end on Memorial Day. And some schools are going to that, or some states are going to that. Others are that. I think Jeff's point's well taken. A lot of time off in between. I'm sure there's studies that say how well that, or how adversely it affects students or it doesn't affect students. I don't know. But I would support this more time to look at the calendars. It's not a rush right now to approve the calendar for next year, is it?
No, I mean, you want to get the right calendar. The contract language says we have to have something to the board in February, which we've done that. But you want to get the right calendar. Obviously, one of the things when I met with the group again, talked about the fact that we needed a date for professional development in there because the calendar as it was originally presented, option 3 did not have a professional development day in there. And given the requirements that are going to be coming up with dyslexia and diversity requirements that we have to meet, we really need a day of professional development. So I would like for that to be, if we're going to revisit this calendar again, that needs to be, make sure that we include that in there.
So that's not in any of the 3 options?
It is, I don't even know, tell you the truth. I know we talked about with the updated calendar 3 we gave you that it was in there. Now you'll see in these calendars where it says in-service day, like January, I'm looking at option 3. Calendar 4 says January 4th in-service day. You'll see in-service day at the end of May. Those are, according to the contract, where teachers get to work on grades for those days, so I can't pull them out to do professional development for those. So there's one in October, one in January, and one in May.
Yeah, it looks like there were in 1 and 2, there were professional development days. If I'm reading that right,
What month?
but not January.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, option 2 had a professional development day on January the 5th. Option 1 had one on January the 5th.
So I'm okay with tabling that for now, if you guys want
I'll
to,
withdraw my motion.
okay. And then
To
we'll,
table.
So you want me to present something that doesn't have basically a week-long break in it prior to testing?
I
Okay.
mean, that's the first week of testing.
Yeah.
That's absolutely the first week of testing for the one, and basically the week before the other testing starts.
Okay. We will get back together with that group and see what we can work out.
okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, so then I'd like to recommend B 1 through 10. And I would like to recognize that the retirement of Carol Secoin. She's been a teacher in the district for 28 years. Most of her time has been spent in preschool. And that's a significant, change for our district to not have Carol. I think tons and tons of kids and parents know Miss Secoy from all of her years here in preschool. And then Lisa Fry, who's a science teacher, has been a very good science teacher for us. She's moving back to Oregon, I think. Is that where it is? Yeah, moving back to Oregon. So she has submitted her resignation as well.
Okay, yeah, we'll certainly miss both of them.
Definitely.
All right, is there a motion to accept the superintendent's recommendations?
So moved.
Second?
I'll second.
Okay. Sean did, right before you,
Wow.
sorry.
Could I ask Ethan to stand up? He's the teacher that we've just approved to hire for science at the high school, Ethan
Oh,
Smith.
okay. Nice to meet you. Thank you. Thanks for being here.
We haven't approved him yet.
He was very impressive. It's very difficult to find good high school science teachers. So we're pretty excited to have him. He's going to bring I think a lot of good stuff to the high school.
Great. Well, welcome. All right, we have a first and a second. Any discussion? Roll, please.
Mr. Hartmuth?
Yes.
Mr. Porter? Mr. Bonner?
Yes.
Mrs. Corzine?
Yes.
Mr. Dennis?
Okay, and there were no discussion or informational items, so we'll move on to board member comments. Does anybody have anything?
I guess I'll be first. I would like to challenge this district to do something that very few others in this state are talking about. And I would like us to explore the potential of doing year-round schooling. We talk about test scores, kids losing things over being out of school for weeks and weeks and weeks at a time. And our test scores reflect some of that. I've done a lot of research. I've done a lot of reading. Of course, depending on whose article you read, sometimes it will dictate what the answer to your question is. But I think if we were to take the opportunity and to put a steering committee together of staff, parents, students, board members, interested parties, and start talking about year-round schooling. Would it fit? Would it not fit? The original school model was designed behind kids that worked on farms. That's why they were out of school all summer long. They worked on a farm. We rarely do that anymore. I would like to see us do something like that and at least have the discussion and see if it is worthwhile or not worthwhile, and see if it would help our kids.
Okay.
Because that's the bottom line. That's why we're here. We're here to help the kids.
Mhm.
So if we can do something, no matter how out of the normal it is, if it works and it educates kids and it makes kids better people, I think it's what we're here to do.
Okay. Would you like me to maybe to plan on reporting out something in April, at the April board meeting? That gives me time to
Yeah.
get a committee together and, okay.
As a sidebar for that committee, I would like to also ask them to look at the potential thought of school uniforms. If you're going to crack the can, let's do it big.
All righty. Can you define school uniform?
Can I define?
Because when I went to school, it was a jumper and.
I can certainly define my vision of a school uniform, but I can't define what the committee's vision would be.
Okay.
My vision is a reasonably uniform appearance in the building, i.e. students in either jeans or a khaki or a dark pant, skirt, short, whatever it may be, and a school t-shirt or a 3-button like polo shirt in like a blue or a white color, excuse me. You can do that at Walmart for about $12. You can dress a kid for a day for about $12. Considering the social economical affluency of our community, I think that may help some people as well. I don't know, but I figure if we're going to talk about year-round school, let's talk about several things at once and see what they look like at the end of the conversation.
Okay. All righty. I can do that.
I've probably done enough now. I'll be quiet.
It's enough damage. Ms. Corzine, Oscar is here. If we could maybe take a second to recognize him.
Oh, sure.
Oscar, if you want to come up
Oscar.
here just for a second. Doesn't matter. Show you some appreciation. I know you haven't had a typical esteem for liaison areas. Hopefully it benefited you in some way. I appreciate your reports that you gave while you were able to do that, and we wish you well in college. Where did you decide you're going to go?
I haven't decided.
You haven't decided. Okay, very good. But thank you very much for stepping up and really spending time.
Thank you for accepting the liaison.
Well, good luck.
Oscar. So I know one of the places you're looking at is in Colorado, and I have come to love that state. And so I'm going to give you this. You can make that, and if you go out there, you're going to find that everywhere you go, even on pizza.
Thank you, Oscar.
Any other board member comments?
Yeah, I'll, since we're kind of talking about looking at some changes here, I talked to, I know a little over a year or so ago, and COVID hit and things stopped, about a no cell phone in school policy.
Mhm.
I know, did we ever look at that, or did it just stop because of COVID, or where did that go to?
Well, I would say because of COVID, that stopped pretty quick.
Right,
That dropped to the
and certainly
bottom.
I don't expect because of COVID that, if we ever get back to normal, I would like to revisit that issue.
I can just kind of lump it in here with the rest of it if you
I
want.
appreciate that, Bill, because I did bring that up
Yes,
a
you
while ago. And yeah, if we could
Okay.
add that to the list, that would be
Okay,
wonderful.
I'll just put that in there with that group. That'd be a busy group.
And as the pushback that we may get from school uniforms, I don't know. I think that there's good data that show that schools that have uniforms have a lot more successful academics than schools that don't. Now there's a lot more than just wearing the uniform. But if I will quote one of my favorite people, the apparel oft proclaims the man. That's William Shakespeare.
Well, I'll put some research together on both the uniform and the year-round school for this committee to take a look at, and I'll send it out to all the staff, because part of that's going to be a survey to staff, obviously, on those things. So I'll put some of that together. Okay.
Thank you very much. And then I just wanted to give a shout out and good luck to Evan Sibrel, who will swim in 2 events at the state meet. I believe is that this week?
That's right.
Friday evening.
Friday evening. And where will that be? Is that at Bowling Green?
C.T. Branham, Canton, Ohio.
Okay, all right.
Auditorium at McKinley High School.
Okay. Well, we wish him luck. We'll be cheering for him. Okay, anything else from the board?
I would like to just update the board real quick that the health department is administering our vaccines for staff on Thursday up at the Shoemaker Center. And we really appreciate the time and effort they put into that, because I know it's been a big undertaking. I believe you're also vaccinating Paint Valley schools as well. So I just want everybody to know that our staff are in line for Thursday from, I think it's like 2:30 to 6:45 or something like that.
Well, that's great. I know the staff appreciates that.
Yeah.
I was just going to mention, well, it's excellent that the vaccines.
Yeah.
If it's your turn to take one, I highly recommend it. I'm available for that. I just want to make you guys aware of that. You know, we are busy at work, but I can make some time available. And that goes the same for the school district. You know, I can make myself available during the day, whether, you know, come in for a half hour or a half day or
Okay.
afternoon to go over things. You know, I feel that that would be better as a new board member to learn more about some of the inside happenings, some of the current policies, the current protocols.
Okay.
Yep, we'll help you out in any way we can and reach out to us too if you know, there's anything. Oh,
Some might be, you know, might not be just a question where I'm just trying to learn more about the process.
right, yeah.
But also, you know, to help us during the meetings to make those decisions. For example, the calendar, like knowing when testing dates are coming in, and some of the reasons behind the decisions on some of these things.
Okay, sure. Very good. Anything else? All right, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? No one. All right, thank you very much.